my answer is to look forward to my next life. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look forward to my next life.
We'll be back in a few moments. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers in water. Hugs and love to all, both and each and every one as soon as possible. Oh, let me put on our phone conference. I'll do this again in a minute. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers. Hugs and love to all, both and each and every one as soon as possible. Hold on one moment now. Put on our conference line. That's when you're outside of North America, dial 011 and then dial 641-715-3580, access code 773342. maybe, but let's go to the eggs right now. Okay, we gather the eggs, the 3 eggs representing 3 women. It's optimal to start with 3. If you have 2, that's okay too. Even if you have just 1 who's invoking the circle of women, that's also the presence of all women. If you say the names and you recognize the importance of other women in what you're saying, then that's good. But better is 2, and knowing that the Mother Goddess is always present, watching 1 or 2, what she and they are doing. And then the 3rd, the Goddess, becomes the more incarnated process, because then you have the ability to make a circle. And a circle allows people to learn to do give and take, and is an important process. And it's also an important geometrical figure that is the sphere that is our universe, an expanding sphere. But it's a circle, and so it's a very holy figure, and you create the circle. Then you expand it to, say, 5, 7 women, maybe even 11. And you anoint one another as goddesses, equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs. Simply meaning that you're incarnations of the great goddess aspect of the universe, and that you recognize that you have certain powers linked to estrogen and other features of being female. And then you also bring in 2 younger women after you've anointed one another as goddesses. And let's say we start with women who are ages 38 and so or over. Then we bring in our younger women around age under that age, around 37 and younger, and our younger men, and anoint them both as goddesses and gods. Equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs. And there you have it, the El ceremony. With this ceremony, you would just do the ceremony together, and allude to the 50/50 now.wordpress.com, the New Millennial Golden Rule, wherever you're at, and that will implement it whoever you're talking with. It's very simple. You always have that available, and it's best to just not get off on other sidetracks. I have to remember that rule myself, to not get into other facets of reality, because they're all putrid. And so now let's do that again. Let's do that ceremony one more time, because we might have been on mute. So we're going to do it again, and let's do it one more time. The light is on in all our hearts. We have this marvelous, miraculous, finding blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. And we'll say it again. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. And we'll say namaste. Let me just get this back here. And we'll say namaste, mitakuya oyasin, mitakuya koseviral, quantum pax, co-impax culture, tubes, sedleric, tubes, bahaval, chaim, shalom, salam, salam, shalom, mir pache, pache, mir, merci, buenos dias, ciao, schwanzavag, Ubuntu, Jinquei, Chop Chop, Sayonara, Das Vidanya, Cheerio, and good day. And if I've forgotten any languages, you add them. And we'll say, let's love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper all, both in each and every one, as Equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs. And we'll also say it this way. Let's love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper all, both in each and every one, as Equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs. And again, we did this a little bit earlier, but I think I may have had a mute for part of it, so it doesn't hurt to do it again. This is a pleasure and a gift to be able to do this. And we drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one, especially focusing on the importance of 2 to 3 years on cue breastfeeding for every holy baby girl and holy baby boy, especially those of my family and your family and all our family. It's all one family. And also the importance of loving and human kindness throughout our lives as Equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs. That has to become our way. However, we have to know that when people are practicing patriarchy, whether it's females or males who are doing it, we have to let them know that it's destroying their planet now. It's just simple. You have to let them know that what they're doing is destructive. It's not a kindness to let them go ahead and do stupid things. It's not a kindness to them and not give them a better alternative. We've given everyone we know the better alternative. They haven't been picking it up, though. And that's the fun thing that I find very fascinating about it, that once patriarchy is entrenched and internalized, people are in lockstep with it, and they just keep doing it no matter how obviously it's not working. And they are deluded by this tokenist facade that patriarchs have learned how to put on patriarchy. Put a nice, beautiful girl out front. Behind it is patriarchy. But she will seduce you into thinking that you have some kind of goodness going on. It isn't good. What's going on in the background is very tipped toward something that is totally unsustainable for everyone. So what we have to do is learn to differentiate between parity and patriarchy, and tokenism is a form, in fact, it's the end stage of patriarchy. So we have to understand what we're looking at, and let's drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one, and especially gather together to educate people about the importance of on-cue breastfeeding. And what we also have to say is, once you shift out of patriarchy and you have peace culture, you have enormous amounts of freed up resources that can be given to healing people who did not have the optimal beginning. And it is possible to heal people later in life. Goddess God gives us very great resiliency. We can always heal. So we will drink on behalf of all, both and each and every one, as Equinox Accused, Co-Secretary Generals representing all, both and each and every one, and on behalf of all, both and each and every one as soon as possible. And now. Okay. And now we'll do the same thing. We did this before, so I won't go into a great deal of depth with, but our Purim and Passover fruit juice and wine, Earthsz and a soma of the Vedic ceremonies and entheons of the Eleusinian mysteries, and all the sacraments of all faiths. But remember that none is more sacramental than the milk, the mother's milk, and because that is what gives human beings the best beginning and the best start, and to remain holy and experience their holiness throughout their lives. So, and that's an important aspect for not only for the mother and the child, but for the entire family community to support. So, especially fathers. So here we'll drink these liquids also, but remembering they are not more sacramental than the milk. No. And we'll drink on behalf of all, both and each and everyone, and representing all, both and each and everyone as soon as possible. And we'll okay, and we'll also say again that we'll drink the water of loving living planets that will reclaim and sustain our planet Earth and all our Earths to be, past, present, future, as Equinox Accused, Co-Secretary Generals, drink on behalf of all, both and each and everyone, and celebrating all, both and each and everyone as soon as possible. And we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days, past, present, future, as Equinox Accused, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Saviorans, starting with our Shekinas and then our younger Shekinas and young Hikinas, joining all Shekinas of all ages, especially our older women. Start with the older women, and then our Shekinas, younger Shekinas, and young Hikinas, age 37 thereabouts and younger. And that's and as Equinox Accused, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Saviorans, starting with our equinox, birth, all these various dates, connecting them to the solar parts of the year, so it's one big arc and circle. And we're always Equinox Accused, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Saviorans. We always have spring within us. Springs, and we'll also do this way. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days, past, present, future, as Equinox Accused, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Saviorans. No, it would seem to me that what I have been doing is falling on deaf ears, and what is going to happen on this planet is that you have all decided to just let go, and whatever happens will happen, and let the sociopaths rule you and not stand up for, because you're silent about parity, not patriarchy, and you're not gathering. Some of you who are listening to this, you haven't been gathering now for 3 years. So what can I say? You know, I don't mind saying this over and over and over again, and pretty soon God is going to say, look, Rochelle, these people are just too dumb to get it, and they're too unkind to get it, and you're wasting your words, and they'll have to learn the hard way, and we'll give them some very severe lessons, and then maybe they'll let you come back to them, and they will understand that you are giving them life and world's savings and reconnecting recipe, and all they had to do was follow it. And for all these years, they've been avoiding following it for whatever reason. I think the reasons are many, mostly mother wounds. People are afraid to trust a female because they couldn't trust their mothers, or they're just so used to having men dominate them that they can't think straight, or variations on those things. Or they're very father hungry, and if they're a man, they think, oh, that's an insult to me. And they don't understand. Patriarchy kills more men than it does women. So just cripples women. But now in this generation, we'll all die together because global warming will kill us all, and all the other environmental issues will kill us all. So now it'll be an equal opportunity patriarchy of destruction. Planetocide, if we continue. If not, we can become equinoxial cues, have a risen planet, and a marvelous miraculous time on this and all our planets. I think we should pick that option, don't you? Okay, and let's see. Okay, and now we want to do our Purim cookie and our Passover wafer. And again, reminding people that these were promises. These are holidays of promise. And these are holidays of promise. And the promise of 50-50 on Purim, the promise of a promised land, and on Passover and of risen life on Easter. We put all these promises together with the new millennial golden rule, and they all come true. And so instead of a triangular cookie, we have a Purim cookie that's round, symbolizing the importance of women gathering in a circle to talk about this, and then bringing in our younger people, and then recognizing that Passover is a reflection of patriarchal society. Nobody has time for anything worthwhile. Nothing can rise fully. That's patriarchy for you. And here is the cakes. The breads of the risen females and the risen males when we implement the new millennial golden rule, past, present, future, as equinoxial cues, co-secretary generals, co-savior as. And we'll also do the eggs. Oh, you already heard me do the eggs of egalitarian culture. I think that I had that off mute, so we'll just let that be for what we did. And now we'll do our consciousness currencies that are on 50/50 now at WordPress.com. This is our Margulian, Silver Golden Kindian, Zalakindian, Feldmarian, Marielian, Adelian, Marielian, Goldenbergian, Sweeten, Saganin, many other surnames that are intertwined here, that are intertwined with our family tree. But we want to emphasize the Marian and the Feldmarian because that is the Marian aspect, which is one that has to do with connection and flow, and it's very important for us to keep in mind. And also with all the golden ones, that we recognize that this can be a time of the golden rule instead of just some old guy collecting a lot of gold at everybody's expense like Midas, and then in the end it's so cold he has nothing to touch. Okay, and so here we have our consciousness currencies and our older generations of women, past women remembered, and our current women, age 38 thereabouts and older, and our current younger group of people, females and males, Shekinas and Hekinas around age 37 younger. We have them all depicted here, and you can see them on the gallery of the consciousness currencies, as well as on the section of among the among the representatives, you, and you on the section of the website called the Grassroots Congresses, Courts, and Assemblies. And so we have gathered you here. I have gathered you here. You are not gathering here, but I have gathered you here. So, you know, the heaven is in me. And if you off me or lose me, then you won't have heaven on this earth, and you'll have something else. And it won't last that long, because God is God. It's not a sadist and doesn't like to see their children suffer a very, very long time. So most likely it will just be a time of great suffering, and then it will be extinguished, and it will be caused by your failing to understand that you needed to switch from parity to patriarchy. So let's not do that. Let's instead raise our consciousness and start passing these out and valuing one another in the trillions and zillions, as not only as individuals but in our group together. And so we'll say all our kisses. And again, with our larger branching family tree, same group of people, all the names, and I say greatly thank you as Hera, Harriet, and Ray for giving us this virtual virtuous place together. And the real place is very much also present on our planet, and we also want to include that. And so we have our multi-branching family tree, Ray and Hera, Harriet, gathering us here by their spirits, and also all the Sister Kazina neighbors, Precious Antoinette, Grandma Marie, Grandpapa, and Grandma Margulies, Precious Antoinette, Risen Rose, Grandma Marie, Grandma Popper, Grandma Dorothy, Annette, Lynn, and Rachel, and many, many more names that you need to guide us to include. Of course, Rose and Pearl and Myrtle and Myrtle and Pearl and Rose and Marie of Anne Marie and Ma Patricia's traditions and heritages, and also Malka and Shirley, and all of the other branches of our family that you need to fill in the names of all these great grandmothers who you have not been bringing forth at all. So what, you're not showing any understanding of traveling through time. So I guess your thoughts are too limited to your day-to-day, and you can't think beyond what they tell you on television. So wake up. And here we have the older generations of women among us, very important. Victoria, Miriam, let's start with Marion. Marion and Victoria and Julia Marie and I, in relation to Hera, Harriet, and also Rachel and Alexandra and Juliana and Francesca. We have Sarah, Susan, and Jordine and Laura. In relation to Beth Ann, we have Barbara, and remembering Judy, we have Cheryl, and remembering all her family. We have Meredith, and remembering all her family, and Giselle, and many more. And we have and Marcia and Denise, remembering that family, and also again Anna Marie and Ma Patricia, singing cricket and sunflowers, with Laura and Sophie and Marcia and Sophie and Martha and Pauline, and we have Donna and Diana, and we have Judy, and we have Louise, and we have many, many more, Georgine, and all the Naomi, and many, many more. And of course, I did say Victoria and Mariama and Libertia in Australia. All of them are here, very centrally important. And then we have our younger people, Hadass and Rachel Marie and Daniel Juliet and Stacy Anastasia, Soma, Vanessa, and with Raquel, Lynn, and Sharon, and with Stacy Anastasia, with Andrea and Jill, and we have Alana and Halal and Ashira, and they have the other Kazinas that we don't know the names of, but let's find them out. Rebecca and Sandra, Abby and Sarah, and many, many more. Of course, I mentioned Soma already, I think, Soma, and all more family here, Andrea, Robin, lots of them. And we also have our young men, equally important, Yeshai and Harlan Luzaviz, and Yeshai with Marcel, with Ross, with Jared. All of them was the circle with the young women in the circle. And then we have our makings of the Eleusinian, co-savior Eleusinian mysteries gathered and revealed. And here we are. We anoint you all as Equinox Q's co-secretary generals, co-savior past, present, future. And we also bring forth our older men. They are also waiting to come through the stargates, but they can't do it if you will not form an egalitarian culture that's reparative to females first. If you don't do it, then guess what? This is a destroyed planet. You've made your decision. You threw up your hands and said, oh, our leaders wouldn't do it right, and we couldn't do anything about it. And then you just let it all go, and you said to your kids, well, too bad. You're 60 years, you're 70 or 60 and you're 50 and you're 40-year-olds couldn't care less about the future, and they don't know what they're doing, but they like following tokens and phony leaders, and they just follow whatever's put in front of their television, and they don't think. So that seems to be what you're doing. So that's where you're at, and I guess you're going to have to get some feedback. So that's all I can say. You didn't learn by teaching. You didn't learn by excellent provision of information on the 5015 website. I've been holding your hand. You don't like that. You don't value that. I don't know what to say. Maybe you need, if you just get a cold, nasty mother, and that seems to be what you're looking for in this culture, you're going to wind up with a cold, nasty planet that has no future. Okay, so maybe that's what you want, and maybe that's what you've decided. There's a lot of people on this culture who may have the kind of instincts of Tyrannosaurus rexes. They just want to die on top. That's all they want. They really don't care about the future. They have no commitment. They're reptilian. They have no future orientation. So this is it for them. They're happy to die on top, and that's it for them. Okay, is that what you're all following? Is that what you want? Or would you rather be Equinox Q's and have eternal life on this and all planets? Past, present, future. Let's give you all the kisses. And let's do this branch of my family. And if you who are here, and all of you, if Barbara, you were here, you bring pictures of your family. You, Marion, you'd bring pictures of your family. Victoria, you bring pictures of your family. Georgine, you bring pictures of your family. This is my family, and I know how important they are. The silver, the Margilian, silver golden Kindians, all Kindian, Feldmarian, uniting with the Marian and Adelian, and more branches there. So let's give them big kisses. And then we'll go back to our larger tree. Okay. Okay, and then we'll also say, we'll get our big bowl of fruit in a clear bowl for clarity, like Clara, remembering Ray and Clara. And we'll say, we'll start fresh. We'll pick Parity Paradise, past, present, future as Equinox Q's. We'll honor our sister Gazinas, past, present, future. We'll honor our young sister Gazinas and young Gazinas, the young cousins, past, present, future. And we'll say to the guys, older guys, you wait. You wait. You are out of control, and those who are following you are causing all the problems in the world. And then we'll say, we'll put an end to patriarchal planeticide, and that's for the benefit of older men too. Do they want to die? Do most of them really want to die because a few of them are so idiotic on television? I don't think most of them do, but maybe you do. So anyway, let's pick Parity Paradise, past, present, future, as Equinox Q's co-secretary general, co-savior. we'll say, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earths, past, present, future, as Equinox Trucuse, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Saviorats. And we'll say, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earths, past, present, future, as Equinox Trucuse, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Saviorats. Now, I want to make an announcement so you all know. There's been a woman in our family who's been, I'd say, at the heart of darkness. There's a couple of them in my family branches that are very involved in relational aggression toward me. And one of them in particular is at the very, I'd say, the lowest cold spot. She's a Republican, and she is a young woman for a Republican, actually. I mean, she's much younger than I am, and yet doesn't see that there is a problem with patriarchy, and she's taught that to her children, and she has inculcated it to some extent into the thoughts of my sister and my nephew, and they have been associating with each other and with her. And although she made it possible for me to be arrested, I did leave a phone message with her to call a therapist in Chicago, where I will be putting on voice messages that are similar to the ones I've been putting on the phone tree. In fact, they'll be identical because I'll do them simultaneously at least once a week per month, so that she knows that there is an actual therapist in the Chicago area that she could go and knock on the door and say, I would like to come in and speak to you. I think maybe I did kind of screw up in the patriarchal pursuit of passivity in my family that I did, and enforcing that as a model on other women in my family. I know I did that for reasons of my personal story, and I do need to work it out. We would support her, and it would be part of our gathering in a circle and all talking about all our stories, because we all have, you might say, war stories from patriarchy. Everybody does. So I've done that, and if I get into trouble because of it and I'm arrested, I will refer the people who arrest me to this broadcast, and I will say to them, and to, of course, to the website, and I will say that I did this in order to save the lives of younger people in our family, that's why I did it, that I took the risk, and I did this specifically to save life of precious people in our family, because what I see going on with women in this culture is they're afraid to break any law or go against any rule that's already been set upon them by no matter how patriarchal the idiots who did it. And I don't include only men as patriarchal. We got plenty of female patriarchal practitioners in this culture, tokens who are doing nothing but enforcing the guidelines and the rules set for the rest of us by boardrooms filled with sociopaths. And so, you know, it's absurd. They have the new millennial golden rule. I've communicated this to just about everyone. And I can't imagine why people are not picking up on it already. It's just that maybe once you've been bathed in testosterone too long, you lose the ability to think at all or feel. You lose the ability to think and feel, and you make no gestures toward anybody in the direction of parity. But we yet have a number of people, lots of people who want parity. It's just that you don't hear them on the radio and you don't hear them on the television. So you're hearing me here, and this is, again, not against anyone. The most patriarchal of gendarmes that could be sent to go arrest me, I will say to him, parity not patriarchy, so that you might have eternal life. That's all. That's my message. You want eternal life, you have to have parity not patriarchy. If you want to die on this planet, then you can have patriarchy. And if you do let that happen to your planet, then, and you make no effort to stop that process, then when you are, the planet is gone and you go into the Akashic record, you're likely reincarnated somewhere else. It will be a significantly lower incarnation, much lower in the ladder of types of life. You will not likely come back as a human being. So, you know, you have to figure out what's your time frame on this. If all you care about is dying on top, hold on to patriarchy. If you think you might recognize that you have an eternal life, no matter what you do, and your soul goes through various stages of wisdom based on what you do, then pick parity. Pick parity now. And that's what we want you to know. I do feel that there's a number of young people in our family, I wrote you this in the emails already, that I personally believe at this point that Hadass, that Vanessa, that Harlan Saviz, and that Soma and possibly others in our family system are on the ropes because of the repeated lack of response from women on this list to one another and to me for a number of years now. Now that doesn't mean I will stop myself from preaching at you. I know I'm saying the right thing, so I shouldn't stop. Somebody might stop me because you've set up such a dangerous situation that I could be stopped. Then all of the progress on this planet will stop, and this planet will go into a paroxysm. And you will have caused that by simply doing nothing when you should have shown some connection and agency. So let's figure this out already. I hope you do today, because I really think that we are at the end of the grace period. I'm Grace, a risen Grace Love of the broadcast, the wife of television. And I've sent out all kinds of emails about the media. I've spoken to women who are journalists. I've told them what I think. I've given them the website. They're all ignoring me. Women who are experts on media. They're all ignoring me. Now, I'll tell you what that means. That means that the people of this culture are Fruit Loopy, okay? That they're so punch drunk that they can't think at all. And so I think what's going to happen is going to have to be some cataclysms of some various types to get your attention, because nobody else can get your attention. It's going to take Goddess God to get your attention. Now, I also want to say, if you have any personal problems and your life is at stake in any way, you can call me 24/7, and you also can call me on the phone tree, especially the younger people who I've been giving messages to on the phone tree, and I'm going to start adding a few more people's names. I will check that phone tree as best I can. Now, it is possible that I'll be arrested briefly. I doubt if I will be arrested for a long time. I doubt if I will remain in prison for a long time. So if there's an interruption to your connection with me, it will only be brief. And know that I will be, even if I am arrested and I'm in prison, I will be the freest person there. It's the people who will be guarding me that will be in prison. I will be free. I'm as free as the Queen of Hearts. I'm always free. And because I don't have the delusion that patriarchy can work. And so I will be doing right there the ceremony. I will do the ceremony at the usual times, even though I won't be able to necessarily broadcast on the broadcast software. I'll be broadcasting it to Mother, Father, Goddess, God, and I'll still be saying your names and all the names of your great and grandmothers, our great and grandmothers, and all of our family. And did I say the names of the men of the family? And they're waiting for you to figure out what I have already told you so many times. So I love you, and you can call me 24/7. I hope everything is all right for you again. And if you have any interference, if you have to go through any interaction with the wrong people or so forth before you get to me, just understand, it's when you get to me that you get to the gold. Okay? Just get to me and you'll get to the gold. I have it for you. I have eternal life for you. You can have it. But you have to get to me and get to one another in that circle, in circles. Okay? I love you, and I'll go ahead and send this as a message here, or just let this be the conference we've recorded, and now I'll make some outreach calls. I'm not sure if I did the this, but I'll do it again just in case I didn't. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earth's past, present, futures, equinox, true cues, co-secretary generals, co-savior Raz. And we'll say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritage of our earth and our earth's as equinox, true cues, co-secretary generals, co-savior Raz.